Dear students, hope you are all safe at home. Please don't come out unnecessarily. The virus and the infection is increasing enormously. So you're all by now come to know through news. So it is better to stay at home. You all understood third lesson, and now we are moving on to the fourth lesson in environmental science, managing soil and land. In that first unit, we are going to learn about soil. Soil is a combination of organic material which covers the earth and supports plant life. Soil is essentially a biotic component of our ecosystem. Soil is very important, children. Without soil, can you imagine where you will stand, where you will construct house, all that, is it not? So the inorganic part of soil comes for the rocks and minerals that have been broken down due to weathering or other natural processes, while the organic part comes for the deceiving of organic material, debris from plants and decomposed tiny living organisms that live in the soil. The composition of soil varies from place to place as it depends on the kind of rocks and minerals present in the region and the kind of plant life and that is found there. That is, it is made up of both components, namely inorganic and organic. Inorganic substances comes from the weathering of the rocks and various other things like sunlight, overheat, floods. We have learned all this, how formation of soil takes place in your lower classes. Now, organic part, it is nothing but decomposed matter. Is that clear, children? Now, we are moving to the next part. Soil is an essential biotic component of our ecosystem. In the presence of sunlight and water, it sustains plant life, and plants serve as vital part of the food chain for animals, including human beings. Without soil, there would be no plants, no forest, and no animal life. In other words, life on this blue planet depends largely on the soil. Planet Earth totally depends on the soil. These years, man has struggled to reach an adjustment with the soil to stabilize himself in the field of agriculture on permanent basis. The unhealthy state of rural people, that is farmers, makes us realize that there is no adjustment between the techniques of farming and soil. So there's no adjustment between technique and farming. It's only the soil itself has to stabilize. Fortunately, it has the tendency. Got it, children? So instead of we overusing the soil, if you judicially use it, definitely it will help us for a long run. For example, soil does not deteriorate by using it. That is what now we are speaking. Careful husbandry can make the soil more productive. For example, in Puerto Rico, sugarcane has been grown continuously for over 300 years. 300 years continuously they were growing only sugarcane, children. But nothing happened to the soil. There, no, the improved varieties and better husbandry and yields are higher today than ever, even before. See, for 300 years they are growing means we think soil should deteriorate. But it is better even before. Got it? To conserve soil, it would mean to reverse the trends of soil depletion and bring about soil conservation. So first is conservation of soil. First thing is we should know what is meant by soil erosion. Soil erosion is nothing but washing away of topsoil with various factors like wind, water, rain, heavy rains, all that. Okay. Now, how it happens? What are the causes? Wind, water, overgrazing, deforestation, unscientific cultivation, all these cause the soil erosion. Got it? Depletion of soil and bring about soil conservation. We can Also conserve the soil by protecting. Wind, rain and temperature are the natural factors for the soil erosion. Reforestation, changes in cropping system, use of fertilizers and improved farm practices could be a step towards soil conservation. David Pimentel, professor of ecology at Cornell, commented that soil erosion is second only to population growth as the biggest environment problem the world faces. Although soil erosion is a slow process, nevertheless, controlling it should be a matter of concern. Consider this: one rainstorm can wash away 1 millimeter of topsoil. Doesn't look alarming, children? Is it not alarming? Then imagine heavy rains. Now, heavy rains are coming. How much topsoil would have been washed away, isn't it? But if we consider an area of 1 hectare, 2.5 acres, 13 tons of topsoil would be displaced. It would take at least 20 years to compensate for this loss naturally, and this kind of loss occurs again and again, year after year. Every year, monsoon, sometimes heavy rains, all these are occurring now, children. So, this is year after year, this is occurring. But to conserve again, it takes 20 years. Effects of soil erosion. Over the past 40 years, as a result of soil erosion, 30% of our arable land has become unproductive. 60% of the washed away topsoil lands up in rivers, lakes and ponds, making them prone to flooding and contamination from fertilizers and pesticides. Soil erosion also reduces the ability to support biodiversity, as the capacity of soil to store water and support plant growth reduces. So flora and fauna also will be reduced, and biodiversity also will be reduced, children. Erosion also promotes critical losses of water, nutrients, soil, organic matter, and soil biota, that is soil bacteria, etc. There is an increase of dust in the atmosphere due to erosion, which not only acts as abrasive air pollutant but also carries about 20 human infectious diseases and disease causing organisms, including anthrax and tuberculosis. Got it? Erosion control techniques. First, how to conserve soil. In that, we are going to learn erosion control techniques. For thousands of years, people have been cutting down forests and using land for agriculture, because agriculture was the first main occupation of the people. With a tremendous increase in the world population, the demand for food has increased many times over. As the world population increases, ways must be found to ensure that people can grow enough food to feed themselves. Is that clear? We need more food, as the food is the essential thing and it comes out by the agriculture. The main occupation is agriculture. We should find many ways. Only farming on a huge scale can produce the vast amount of food grains and crops needed to feed people, isn't it? Only farming. But this kind of intensive farming can impact the environment in various ways. Alternate cropping is the one technique we are going to learn now. It refers to the technique of growing a crop for a few seasons and then replacing it by another crop. For example, we grow rice for 2 seasons, then we will not grow rice only in that same field. This time we grow pulses, that is any other dal, like that, other crops, legumes. Then again we'll shift to the rice, cereals. So cereals alternating with pulses. That is why it is called alternate cropping. Continuous growing of one crop such as tobacco causes erosion. A good rotation helps in maintaining the soil fertility. Good rotation crops are small grams and legumes. The legume nodules trap nitrogen from the atmosphere and make it available to the plant in soil. You already learnt how legumes have the nodular roots. Here you find, in this picture, you find root nodules. So this is the legume root and these are roots, and you find nodules. These are all called nodules. In this root nodules, you find nitrogenous fixing bacteria. This crop is a legume crop. For example, beans, peas, gram, etc. This nodular roots, no children, they are specialized roots which have this nitrogen fixing bacteria which will control, got it, this will convert nitrogen from the atmosphere into nitrates, got it, and they make the soil fertile. Is it clear? Legumes nodule trap nitrogen from the atmosphere and make it available to the plant in the soil. There is another type of alternate cropping of series of rows of one crop such as corn or soya bean and wide stripe, one stripe, and another one is cereal. Like one full whole stripe is cereal, one whole stripe is pulses, like that. The next strip is then planted with a crop conserving soil such as grass or grass legumes and mixture. The cover crop such as legume traps the soil that erodes from the row of main crop. It also helps in preventing the spread of pests and plant diseases from one strip to another. This is called strip forming, children. If the cover crop happens to be a nitrogen rich legume, then the soil fertility is restored. Is that clear? So, these are all various techniques of growing crops, alternate cropping techniques. Got it? And proper farming techniques to enrich the soil, prevent leaching of the upper topsoil. But terracing of hill slopes is the cutting into hill slopes in a series of large steps made up of fields. Crop rotation is another practice of growing different crops along with the legumes successively on piece of land so as to conserve soil fertility. This crop rotation, no children, it's another one which also helps, very nice children it is. It also helps farmer to get two kinds of crops. One strip is cereal, one strip is pulses, and one strip is vegetables, means whatever his requirement, all that he can grow in one piece of land. That is also one more advantage by crop rotation or strip formation. Strip farming. Multiple cropping. Two or more different crops are grown on the same field so that products and waste of one crop help in the growth of the other. Now just now I told you, vegetables, spices, cereals, pulses, each one strip. Then what will happen? This crop's waste will be used for another crop, like that. That is also one more use. Due to different nutrient requirement of different crops, this technique avoids exhaustion of soil nutrients. Nutrients also won't get over in the soil because the requirement of the nutrient of one crop is different from the another crop. There is another cropping called canter ploughing. That is, canters will be made. Canter ploughing should be practiced. Canter ploughing is a ploughing along with the outline of the field in a circular manner along the canter of the land. This prevents soil from being washed away by running water. If you have a big canter means one big dugout, circular digging. If you make, the topsoil will come and fall in the canter only. Got it? It will not wash away from here to other because it will be low lying, so it will fall there only. Strip cropping is the planting of alternate rows of different kinds of crops. Mulching is a method of leaving plant remains on the field after harvesting in order to reduce runoff water. This mulching. So you might have seen this while traveling, children. So many crop residues, no children, after taking harvest home, the residue will be left on the crop itself. So like a bed, they protect the crop topsoil by not running off from the field. Is that clear? Now conservation and management of the soil. So many measures are taken for conservation of management of soil. Each one we are going to learn separately, children. So all together you have learned all these techniques like crop rotation, multiple cropping, canter ploughing, strip farming, mulching, judicious use of inputs like fertilizers. All this you have learned together as a headings. Now we are going in detail. Now first one we are learning is alternate cropping techniques. Conservation tillage. The most striking change in the farming technique which is being advocated in the conservation of soil is conservation tillage. Conservation tillage method. Here switching over from conventional till method to conservation tillage could produce 15% more food on the same price for the same piece of land. So by using conservation tillage, you can grow 15% more crop, children. What is this? It is in this practice, farmers are required to leave 30% of the field covered with the residue of the previous crop. The unharvested plant parts slow moisture evaporation from the soil, which means there is enough water in the soil to sustain crop every year. This no-fill method leaves crop produce on the field to preserve moisture and protect the soil from the wind erosion until the next crop can sprout and push through. The stubble decomposes, providing partial nutrients for the next crop. I hope you all understood. Previous crop residue will be left like that only for the 30% of the land. The 70% of field will be, they will start doing the farming. This 30% what it does, it will not allow the water to evaporate, one, and they decompose and provide nutrients, the second one. So this conservation tilling is the best method for preserving the topsoil. In this method, seed and fertilizers are inserted into the soil through small slits or cuts into the soil by razor sharp device attached to the tractor, and the soil is left vertically undisturbed. According to the traditional method, the farmers used to till the previous crop completely, leaving fresh soil vulnerable to erosion. So completely they make plain. But now it is not like that. 30% of the soil will be left with the soil crop residue of the previous yield. Now next method we are going to learn is crop rotation. Crop rotation. The basic rule of crop rotation is never plant a crop twice in the same place. The reason behind this is threefold. Number one, to balance nutrient demands. Number two, foil insect and disease attacks. Number three, deter weeds. For example, potatoes can be grown up in different areas each year so that the pest who specially attack specially attack potatoes do not build up in that area. So the regular thief, same potato thieves will not come because this year you are not again planting potato, so they will not be there. General rule of crop rotation is that legumes, beans, peas, grams, etc. could be planted for the first season as they store nitrogen from the air and release in the soil. This could be followed by leafy vegetables like spinach, cabbage, salad greens, lettuce, etc. These vegetables thrive on nitrogen. After this, plants that need phosphorus for a healthy growth like tomatoes, squash, cucumber, melon, eggplant and peppers could be planted. Next could be those that thrive on potassium like onions, garlic, leek, carrots, turnip and radishes. Thus the rotation goes on. Did you understand? So each time different crops. Strip farming. In this the farmer grows different crops each in its own strip of 1 or 2 tractor widths. These strips ensure that there is always a crop growing in the field. I've told you earlier, farmer will get almost all crops, cereals, pulses, vegetables, all requirements he can grow in one single piece of land. One tractor length of the width, he will grow one strip, another one. The wind may run along the freshly plowed portion for a while, but when it runs into a growing strip, it is likely to slow down and drop much of its load of soil there. This method holds the soil in place so that the farm could be productive for longer time. Now, judicious use of inputs. Excessive use of agriculture chemicals coupled with overuse of land, water resources has led to the deterioration of soil health. Fertility of the soil depends on the judicious use of water, fertilizers and pesticides. Too much if you use, no children, so much of water, so much of pesticides. So if you use, soil get deteriorate. It gets spoiled. It gets washed away. Now water, how we have to use. Farmer with a less produce suffer because of the misconception that more water means a better yield. But there is no substantial evidence to support this belief. Judicious use of water is key to productivity. It will also help in the conservation of this resource which is becoming highly scarce. Water is a resource. Now it is becoming highly risk. It is also depleting. It is also getting reduced. So judicious use of water is very much essential. For example, traditionally about 12,000 cubic meter of water is used for producing approximately 1 ton of basmati rice. According to the experts, the crop need only 50% of this quantity of water, that comes down to only 6,000 cubic meters of water in all. Also, wherever excessive amount of water is used, it can be utilized more effectively by intercropping. Example, excessive quantity of water is used for cane. This can be judiciously utilized by cannula crop. It is cultivated along with the canes as both ripe at the same time, and the amount of water applied to the cane can irrigate 2 crops. Fertilizer. Excessive use of chemical fertilizers undermines the water holding capacity of the soil and has a negative impact on the land's productivity in the large run. Liberal use of organic manure is the need of the hour to restore soil health and improve soil productivity. That means instead of chemical fertilizers, try to use liberally the organic manure. Agro-industrial waste like sugar factory press mud, groundnut shells, coir pith, etc. can be decomposed with the help of techniques that use bacteria, fungi and earthworms and convert it into high value manure. Pesticides. What are pesticides? They are a group of chemicals designed to control weeds, diseases, insects, fungi or other pests on crops, landscapes or animals. Those pesticides that control insects are called insecticides. Those which control fungus are called fungicides. And those which control weeds are weedicides or herbicides. Now we are going to move on to the use of manure, biofertilizers and biopesticides in your second unit. Got it? Now in this unit, you will learn only up to judicious use. Is that clear, children? Thank you. And assignment you will see in the description box, and you will submit after reopening. Thank you.